I desperately want to call Gwyneth Paltrow the N-word, like hard ER, right? And I've talked about this on numerous TikToks, because unlike something like climate change or childhood cancer, this is a cause that I actually care about very deeply. And when I mean call her the N-word, I don't mean like as an insult. I mean that I want to just slip it into casual conversation. Like I want to be talking amongst some other like wealthy, waspy white women, you know, because I'm the token, because they're, at this point, they're like contractually obligated to have at least one brown person in the room. And don't worry, I'll get invited to some sort of goop affiliated event. I'll lie and I'll say like, I'm Aisha Curry. Light skins with light eyes. I'm sorry, as a demographic, I don't trust them, okay? I don't. So I want to be conversing with these waspy white women, and I want one of them to reference Gwyneth, and I'm just like, oh, her, that bleep, crisp ER. And then everyone is going to be sort of aghast and clutching their pearls or their, I don't know, what's the modern equivalent of pearls? Like that Vivienne Westwood choker? And then I'll repeat it again, and I will be so nonchalant about it. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I will say it so casually, like, oh, what's the problem? Her? That N-word over there? And what will they do? What will they do? Nothing. That's right. It's a post-2020 world. 2020 was the year of the Great White Schism. Like, either all white people started to, like, essentially erect a shrine to George Floyd in their house, or they began, like, writing fanfics about, like, the white ethno-state that they're dreaming of, right, on, like, weird online forums. So that was it. Those were the only two options for you as a white in 2020. I'm not a sociologist. None of my theories are backed up by evidence, okay? Just because I believe something doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Speaking of becoming violent, I wasn't even talking about violence. I want to commit acts of violence in places where pseudo-intellectuals congregate, you know what I mean? Like dinner parties, where they're, like, nibbling on appetizers. I want to go in there with, not a gun exactly, because I mean, I am an American and I'm proud to be one, but I'm not that American. I feel like I want to take something more, you know, organic, like a machete, to like honor my African roots. I want to go through those annoying, like, Bard graduates, like their sugarcane. I didn't mean for that to be so, like, slavery coded. I don't know what it is. I feel like some people who don't want to admit that they read Colleen Hoover and pretend like they understand Sartre. No one does. Like, that's the point, okay? You know, this is the one thing about, like, French postmodernists that I think is very interesting, is that without fail, eventually, you read enough of their work, and they're just gonna go full on. Like, they're gonna start debating, like, whether the age of consent even makes any kind of sense. And it's like, you know what? That's a strange hill to die on, admittedly. This is a weird position to feel so strongly about. But then again, that's what you get if you try to take advice from a French person. Whenever you go and pump your gas, are you tempted to, like, take a lick? You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes you'll see the gas dripping out. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be a person who says, like, I'm gonna drink gasoline, I'm gonna sniff gasoline. I can't, okay? That's undignified. If you're gonna start to use and abuse, it has to be something that's like a prescription or something that you, like, snort. If you are inhaling toxins, that's bootleg and that is ghetto. And I don't approve of that. However, I will say that I do like the scent of gasoline. I think it's very intoxicating. Listen, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna start drinking it. I'm not. However, I don't think that I am above taking, like, little bits of it and sort of, like, dabbing it behind my ear. Every time that, like, I walk by a person or there's, like, a breeze and it goes through, you know, my hair, people are reminded of, like, the BP oil spill. Life really is so beautiful when you think about it, but, like, not too hard. And I feel like now that I'm in a place where I'm not doing well exactly, but I am doing. I would just look around and just feel so blessed, you know, like I'll see a morbidly obese person in, like, one of those little mobilized scooter, and I'll just think, I am so proud to be a goddamn American. You know, I'll see a service person getting hassled or just inconvenienced, and I think this is what it means. This is what it means to live in this country. And I hope that will never change. I've been talking a lot about Caucasian people in this, and let me just say this. I'm gonna say Caucasian because I think it's funnier. I'm so annoyed when people want to be pedantic and be like, actually, Caucasian was a term that was invented by a racist to create a uniform white. Caucasian is funnier. I can't believe I have to explain comedy to people. Caucasian is funnier as a word, okay? What am I gonna say? White? European? Unless you say white, that's not funny, okay? I know that they're not from the Caucasus, okay? I know that they're not. They're Irish or Nordic or whatever. Do people even enjoy going to the club? Like, I'm being serious. I've been to maybe a handful of clubs in my life, and it was all terrible, and it was not because of the people there, okay? If you're watching this, it was not because of you, and if they're not watching this, it was because of them. Okay, that's a joke. That was not true. I don't understand what the point of going to a club is, because if you're a guy, if you're a hetero guy, all clubbing is essentially, like, sweating until, like, your perspiration seeps into your butt crack and then getting rejected. That's literally it. That's the only thing that happens to men at clubs. Unless you are Drake, I assume, you know, and then you leave with, like, a bunch of, like, light skins around your arm, which makes me, you know what it looks like? It sort of looks like a beige peas in a pod. You know what I mean? That's what they look like all lined up in their little limo. And I can say that because I'm also light skin and I am our #1 hater. Listen, in a club that is black, it's mostly like, it's music that you can listen to when you're high. It's music that you can listen to when you're, like, drinking Hennessy from the bottle. And you're inside, you're amongst your people, so you don't have to hide it inside of a brown paper bag. It's okay, Tyrone, you can be yourself. And the music is very slow. It's very, like, essentially the kind of music that would be nice to listen to if you are, like, coming down from being tranquilized. It's very laid back, right? It's very slow grinding. It's very, like, getting impregnated on the dance floor. White clubs, and listen, I love me a good white. I like seeing like when white people enjoy themselves, you know, and they get together and they talk about like the Dave Matthews Band. I assume. I don't really know what they talk about. Their music that they listen to is so jarring and very like it's exhausting. I don't understand. It's like the most docile whites too. It's like the Nordics, you know what I mean? Who really love like hard rock music and, you know, the hard heavy metal like EDM. I guess this is the byproduct of like only having 2 months of sunshine every single year is eventually you will just enter a state of psychosis and you will seek out music that speaks to that. The best way of listening to music in my experience is basically to just put on your headphones, destroy your eardrums, and just walk around your room and maladaptive daydream, you know? And I'm not saying that to be relatable, by the way, okay? I don't want you people to be like, oh my gosh, she's just like me. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to be relatable. I want to be so detached from reality that people just look at me in awe. I want to be floating around in another plane of existence. So when I say this, when I talk about my maladaptive daydreaming, I'm not saying this to be relatable, okay? Why am I being so mean? I'm being so rude to you and you haven't said anything. Who am I to even judge? I'm talking to myself in my car, in a parking lot of a strip mall. Which, let me just say this, you can always tell how bougie an area is by like how legitimate your fears of being stabbed are if you're in a strip mall. You know what I mean? I really do feel for millennials. Those are words I never thought I would ever say. I didn't think I'd ever be able to resonate with someone who like lost their V card while the economy was collapsing. To be fair, I guess like there's a considerable amount of people living through the Great Depression that experienced that. And I'm just saying, sometimes I look at the people online going like millennial core. This is what memes used to look like when you remembered when Obama got elected. I haven't watched any of those videos. I've just seen like a few thumbnails of commentary channels talking about them. I'm fake, I'm a liar, and I'm not gonna change. We laugh at them now, but wait 10 years, that's gonna be us. There's gonna be some little Gen Alpha, little who like has 3 million subscribers after like making videos for 2 months on YouTube, and they're gonna be going through like Gen Z slang and the insufferable cringe things that we did, and they're gonna be like, look at these people. They really thought they were bringing back Y2K. None of them looked good in low-rise jeans, and they're gonna be right. And we're gonna be sitting here with our tail between our legs thinking, if only we had been more compassionate to the millennials. If only we saw that eventually, in a few years' time, it was gonna be us who was gonna be on the cringe chopping block, okay? The public crucifixion of the previous generation will come. It is an inevitability, okay, that we are going to be mocked. I think that a random white man in sunglasses just saw me talking to myself in this car, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. I hope he thinks that I'm like making conspiracy theory videos that I'm gonna be posting on Facebook. To be fair, a few years' time, that legitimately might be me. So if you happen to see me on any other social media talking about like QAnon, keep your mouth shut, okay? Because that's where the money is gonna be. But regarding walking around your room, listening to music, and like having maladaptive daydreaming, I'm not gonna lie, there have been fantasies in my head and characters that I've been working on since I was like in middle school. I am emotionally attached to these people in my head who are complete figments of my imagination. They're idealized versions of myself, of potential romantic partners. If I was to actually explain in depth the detail that I go into, the emotional investment that I have in these people, it is legitimately mental illness. I don't know how else to explain it, and I'm not saying that to be quirky and relatable, blah, 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 blah. I know everyone is mentally ill and like autistic. No shade. I'm not autistic. I think I was grazed. And on some level, I do think I have like underlying psychiatric issues that I'm working through. I'm not even saying that as a joke, but I hate admitting that because it's so cringe. You know, it's so embarrassing, like admitting that you have like emotions and that you're a person. You ever feel that? You ever like, I was driving by my old school, my old elementary school, where I had so many memories of being buck-toothed, and that's where I found out that like MLK got murdered. It didn't happen while I was there. There's not even any nostalgia attached to it. I did not enjoy being a child all that much. I enjoyed it more than being a teenager, but that's a pretty low bar to clear. However, I was driving by my old school and this old playground that I used to play in when I was a child, and I could feel the emotions welling up, and I just thought, ew, that's disgusting. Oh, I wanted to scream. Like, it would actually have been more dignified if I was driving by that school as like a predator. Okay, that's not true. I don't know why I said that, but you know what I'm talking about. Should I delete that? I'm not going to because that was raw. That was real. That was the real America right there. You ever think about people from your high school that are like in jail right now, or should be in jail, or might be in jail? There's a few people that I think of that I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if I was to ever turn my news on, I say that like I watch cable. I have a cool life and like a lot of friends and like a lot of suitors. I'm not like a geriatric person watching cable news. You ever think about some of those people who, if you turn the news on, you wouldn't be shocked if it turns out like they had committed a mass, pew pew. It sounds horrible to say, but it's true. It's true. Think about your graduating class right now. Tell me there's not at least 2 individuals who you don't think are capable of committing mass violence. I'll wait. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Really think about them in your head. Think about them getting like handcuffed and escorted like into a police car. You can imagine it, right? It's not that hard. And statistically speaking, if my audience gets large enough, It will happen. I shouldn't smile because that's terrible. Oh my gosh, what if I become a victim of one of them? Oh, I shouldn't say that. No. I'm not like a paranoid, no, I am a paranoid person. I'm not a very supernatural person, but no, I take it back. I take it back. Because if that does happen, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna play clips of this. They're gonna play like clips of this on the news and go like, oh my gosh, little did she know. This is the sad reality of being an American nowadays. You can't even joke about something like this because statistically it might actually happen to you. Isn't that disgusting? Don't you dare use this clip. If you're in the news or you're a journalist or you're a YouTuber, don't you freaking dare use this clip. If I get gunned down, I will haunt you, okay? I will haunt you if you do. I mean, to be honest with you, if you want to use like my face and my death for views, then like go ahead. I give you my blessing. 9/11, 9/11, what went down in building 7? It's a mystery to this day. That is a real song. It's not an original. I wish I were that talented, but it's a conspiracy theory song made by a man who looks like literally a stock photo image of a man that, like, if you were to move your head back and forth like really quickly, you know the figures that you see in their peripheral vision? It's that man. It's an albino version of that man. He's the one who sang that song, and it's been deleted off the internet, and I'm so saddened by it. I'm so saddened by it because I seem to be the only human being on earth who actually remembers it, and it's gone. It's gone from the face of the internet, and I feel like in many ways I've lost a child. And actually, I would say that what I experienced was, if anything, even worse. I feel like 9/11 is very baby girl coded. I deserve to be shot for even saying that. I don't even know what that means. I feel like I'd be a very good, like, cigarette mother. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh, I want to smoke cigarettes so bad. And I want to get a DUI. I feel like that's the classiest of crimes. I don't know, I feel like the light would really reflect off of my glasses pretty well in a mugshot. And I'd pose too. Because now that I'm a celebrity, now that I'm getting PR packages from Yves Saint Laurent, I can afford to get a good lawyer and I'll get off easy. I'll be beaming in my mugshot, just like Bruno Mars, because I know that no one is going to touch my beautiful, racially ambiguous head. I finally got a good PR package. Finally. Normally the crap I get is from Mr. Beast. I get PR packages from a man named Jimmy. Everyone that I know who gets anything, which I sound like such an ingrate. Getting anything for free is pretty nice. But I will say, anytime you get something in the mail, you're like, oh, I'm excited. I wonder what it is. Is it like maybe a sweater with a big ass strawberry on it or something corny that I can still at least wear? Or at least, I don't know, use as like a rag to wipe up stains or something. But no, I open it and it's a gift from Mr. Beast, Mr. Jimmy, the man who blinded 1,000 people. Or he cured their blindness. He should blind 1,000 people just to like break even. Anyway, Jim, I feel like if your name is Jimmy, I should legally be able to throw you down a flight of stairs and face no legal consequences, you know? But anyway, I did get a PR package. I'm very excited. They are fragrances, and let me just say, I am going to reek like a brothel in Thailand, in Bangkok, for the next few weeks. I'm gonna be dousing myself in that. I stole so much candy when I was younger. I was earlier at, I sort of like drove by my elementary school. I mentioned that earlier in the video today. I'm still in my car. I haven't left. And I just think about the fact that I truly used to sneak into the computer room of my old school, and I would sneak like little like Laffy Taffies out of this giant jar, and I was exhilarated. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm such a bad little girl. This is the makings of a criminal. And I never got caught. I'm saying that like it was some sort of grand, criminal scheme. It wasn't. And it was for Laffy Taffies. Absolutely diabolical as a candy. I'd still eat one, but like, what is it made out of? It's like a yoga mat that has been doused in like stevia. I'd still chomp on one because I like the texture. I like squeezing it in between my teeth and having it like come out of the gap that's formed between my two front teeth. But Laffy Taffy is absolutely disgusting. I dropped the pen that I was sucking on somewhere in this car, but it's okay because I have another one. I don't know, it's fancy, and I stole it from like the lobby of a hotel, and I don't regret it. Isn't that one of the perks of being an American? I don't know, what is the peak of being an American? Like being conceived in a Best Western? I think stealing stuff that is technically free, but then like still feeling a little weird about it, that might actually be the pinnacle of American experience. Actually, that's not true. I feel like the stereotypical American doesn't necessarily feel guilty about things. I feel like that's something that the stereotypical, I don't know, Japanese person might have some sort of reserved guilt about. I've grown out my nails, if you ignore this sad little pinky right here, which I might legitimately chop off because she's not going with the rest of the furniture. I like any accessory that sort of doubles as a weapon. And I mean this because I feel like I'm not a very violent person. I've threatened multiple people with death in this video. I'll bark no bite, okay? I like the idea of being able to scratch someone across the face. I think it's kind of cool. I think that it is a good way of like marking someone that you want if you're like at a nightclub and it's kind of dark and you want to be able to spot them later on to get their number. If you scar them, not only will they remember you, but it's a way of easily being able to identify them, and that can be like a cute story that you tell your children about how you met their father. I don't have much else to say. Bye.